coffee. And hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Probably not. Yeah. Bang it, bang it, boom it, bang it, boom, bang. Yeah, I get it. Wait, what's that? Did you tune in to hear me go, uh-oh, real men wear duct tape. Good morning, people of Earth. Oh, it's Monday. Are you ready for a Monday? It is Monday, August 21st, 2023. I could complain, but I shouldn't complain because I don't have, hurricane, earthquake, tornado, sharknado, people out in California. Listen, wow. I had a terrible night and a terrible morning. My coffee machine is broke, all that kind of stuff. But when you think in perspective of what's going on out west, holy fuck, they got it tough out there. And I know a lot of people don't have room in their heart for California or Hawaii. I mean, paradise. Come on, where the sun shines and everything's good all the time, but everything's not all good all the time. And right now, they are going through some shit. Like, first of all, you don't ever name hurricanes after Hillary Clinton. That was bad news right from the start. Name it, I don't know. Maybe name it Marjorie, like after Marjorie Taylor Greene. Then you know what to expect. And then it's just full of hot air and it blows away eventually. Not to make a joke about it, but listen, we went from last week wildfires in Hawaii that the QAnon people were claiming and still are claiming was started by either Chinese space lasers, not Jewish space lasers. They're different. Although Jewish people like Chinese food, right? But they also these energy spikes or something, some kind of energy weapon that China was supposedly using to start the wildfires. Now they've switched conspiracy theories with the hurricane, earthquake, sharknado in Los Angeles, California. The theory now, and it's even hard for me to even wrap my dopey little sleepless brain around this stuff, is that the people who want to convince you, and over there in the corner there, that guy, they want to convince you that climate change is real, are doing this. They're using now these energy weapons to start hurricanes and earthquakes and wildfires to convince you that climate change is real. It almost hurts the brain to think about this. They're going through all this trouble just to be right. Like, if the people who are if we can be clear here about some things, people who are activists about climate change care about the planet. They do it because they want to save the planet. They're not going to go blowing up the planet or burning it down just to prove a point that they were right. You have to you have to think that everybody thinks like you, because people who are climate change deniers would do anything to prove they're right, say anything to prove they're right. Listen, climate change is real. We can argue, we can debate about whether we can do anything to stop it, or well, whether we have any power to control it whatsoever. We can argue about that. But if you're fucking arguing that the climate isn't changing, you're just being a thick-headed dope. You're not paying attention to what's going on around you. So we have earthquakes in the middle of a hurricane. Now it's typical out here when we have hurricanes to spawn small tornadoes, never earthquakes. But wildfires, earthquakes, tornadoes, we've had them all before, but not in this kind of proximity, not this time of year. Well, this time of year is for hurricanes, but it's usually on this side of the country, not on that side of the country. So, um, the theory now, QAnon theory, that they are pushing is that people like me are doing this. Not me necessarily, but people like me who believe in climate change, believe the climate is changing. We're doing this just to get you to say we're right. We are burning down Hawaii. We are somehow causing hurricanes, massive hurricanes, to hit um, Los Angeles, and we're causing earthquakes just to prove a point, just so you will say we're right, because we want to be right about everything. The most insane fucking conspiracy theory to ever come down the pike. But there will be others. What's going on with all that? How many people have lost? 1,000 people still lost in Hawaii, missing in action. It's not unaccounted for. 1,000 people. Biden is supposedly going there today. What's he going to do? Words. Words won't fix anything. But it's a little late. And you know what? I guess better late than never, I guess. But I was pretty critical of him last week for not doing it. Listen, I know it's only words. It's only words. But when people are panicking, sometimes, or people are destitute, words of "don't worry, we're going to make it right. We're going to take care of you," even if it's a lie, can get them through a day. And generally, it is a lie, because FEMA and the federal government don't really solve your problems, and maybe we shouldn't expect them to. That's a whole other argument. That's politics, and I ain't going there. Let me. I just want to read something. Give me a second. One second. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. I just read that, and I said, yeah. My coffee machine broke, but that's not the worst of it. Waiting on a new bed, and the new bed didn't arrive yesterday, and we threw the old bed out. So I sleeping on a couch that feels like a park bench. Fucking torturous night of sleeping. Then I wake up, and my coffee machine. I set up the coffee machine. I go back for a little snooze. I go back, and the coffee machine didn't work. Nothing went on. What's wrong? I'm pushing a button. No, light doesn't come on. It's broke. The coffee machine is the coffee. The coffee machine is broke. How am I supposed to live without coffee? Do you know who you're talking to? Anyway, so I had to use the wife's carafe, that little 1 cup at a time maker, and it's not cold coffee. It's not even damn good coffee. It's kind of hot, but it's going to be one of those days. Everything's wrong. The wife had a call at 3:00 in the morning. She had to leave and go to her job. Emergencies there. It's just like, it's one of those days. It's not manic Monday. It's depressive Monday. It's panic Monday. Anyway, got through the weekend. Hope you did too. It seems like it's a beautiful day out here. I'm sure it's not out west yet. Although the day after a hurricane, when the hurricane blows out, it's usually a pretty day. And I hope things are starting to get back together out there and pulling it together. Saw Joe List's new special on Friday night. Very good. Even though I have seen some of it live in the last 6 months or so, and was prepared and know the material, know the cadence, know the delivery, and all that stuff. It was still funny enough that I laughed out loud, a real laugh out loud, at a YouTube video, which I don't generally do. If I think something is funny, I will generally laugh inside when I'm by myself watching a YouTube video. I'm not going to make a total jerk out of myself laughing out loud at a YouTube video all alone, but I did with his. I actually, several times. Not to the point where I choked like what I did when I saw him live last. Uh, and it was so funny that, and the laughter had died down, and I was still laughing and choking on it. Not that, but it was enough that I woke my wife up in the bedroom, which is 200 feet from here, laughing out loud at it. So I highly recommend it. Go see Joe List. It's free on YouTube. You can donate. You can send them some cashola if you got, but it's completely free to watch. Share it, see it, share it, talk about it, and support it. Joe List, I think, is at the really top of his game right now, and the top of the stand-up comedy field. Um, so had some interesting gigs this weekend. Played at the VA in the VA in Northport, Long Island, which is a huge facility for vets. But we brought a small system to that because we had a double. We had the vets thing, and then we had a dock party. And so we brought the little system out for the vets thing, but it wasn't covering it. And Mikey blew up my little system, my little personal system that I use for doing acoustic solo gigs. So that was a bummer. He blew it up. He needs to hear himself so loud that he turned it up and just blew the speakers out, screaming into his wireless mic system that it was also turned on 10. Blew it up. So that was that. And that haunted me, believe it or not, because I feel like we let the vets down because they had shitty sound. It's getting warm in here. And I got to go turn up the AC. I got shit to complain about, no matter what. Whoever's got things going on in the world, I still feel pity for myself. Self-pity, which is the wrong attitude to have. So then after we had the dock party was kind of uneventful. It was kind of weird. Was separated from people by a road or playing across a road. Cars driving in front of us. Mr. Softy trucks driving in front of us. And it wasn't a lot of people, and they were separated from us, so it's not like that high energy thing. We were out in the hot sun, and somebody brought me an ice cold. I'll say it again. Ice cold Heineken in the hot sun, playing guitar out in the hot sun and already feeling like low energy because burnt out in the sun and the people are far away and all that stuff. Ice cold Heineken. And they brought over a cooler of ice cold Heineken. And Mikey was like, he looked at it, he was like, well, we need an opener. I was like, I can open that for you. He goes, how? Really? How long have you known me that you have to ask how? And he looked at me, oh, you're not going to do it with your teeth. Yeah, pop it off with me. Boom. And it did, and here's your Heineken. Now give me another one for me. But it was ice cold in the hot sun, and I downed that sucker. Nothing in this universe feels quite as nice as a ice cold beer in the hot sun when you're really thirsty. It's just it's a magical thing. But I downed the whole fucking thing, and I was drunk on one Heineken because I downed it. I just so That put me in a weird state of mind. Anyway, we finished the gig, get home, and blah blah blah. And again, didn't sleep well. Uh, got the bed in the park bench issue. It's not a park bench. It's a sofa, but it feels like fucking sleeping on a park bench. So I didn't sleep well, and then I had a gig yesterday, subbing for brother Dave at Daisy's Nashville. Now I am starting to really enjoy doing those. But it's a weird crowd, and sometimes your background music, and but you gotta get the mindset that people are enjoying it. You know they are because they're not booing, they're not walking out. And then when you finish a song, they politely clap, and I'm like, that's not necessary. That makes me feel weird. In some no, clapping is not what I'm about. I'm not a guy who I don't know. I don't take any. It feels weird. I don't take any value in being clapped at after the song is over. I just want to go from one song into another. And clapping, if you do it, you got to. If you do it once, you got to do it for every song. Because the one time you don't do it, I'm gonna say, "Oh, that one didn't go over too well." I prefer no clapping throughout the whole thing, and then I could just feel like everybody loves everything you do. They're just not clappers. Does that make sense? I don't know if I make sense. I'm not here to make sense. I'm here to drink coffee, and I don't really have good coffee. I got some weird single cup bullshit coffee. It's not real coffee. Last week, Frankie Ray. Oh, by the way, this week I got some really weird guests. On before I get into the ananalic thing that I wanted to talk about. This week I got some strange things going on. Tomorrow, uh, tomorrow's a good one. Andrew Cloninger, who's a musician and author, will be with me. Then on Wednesday night, I have the Perry Williams, Francis Perry Williams, who's going to be talking about saving Jesus. He's another guy who's going to prove Jesus to me. If you remember Dave the Prophet proving the existence of God, that was a very interesting show. Highly rated show. Lots of viewers on that. This is going to be Wednesday night. Going to prove to me Jesus stuff. The Saving Jesus is the name of his book. And it might get a little contentious. Yeah, so I'm gonna put it out there to all my atheist friends and agnostic friends, and yeah, if you're a religious person too, if you're a person of faith, you might want to check it out too. But why do we feel like we have to prove stuff? We have to be right. Like we have to convert people. If you believe in God, you believe in Jesus, shouldn't that be enough? Why do you feel like you have to? Because they're told in the book that they have to make believers, that they have to convert, they have to save us, help save us. Well, Jesus doesn't need your help. If you believe in Jesus and he's what he said he was and what you believe he was, why does he need your help? Really? You? Jesus needs your help? I thought he was a super being. He doesn't need your help to convert me. But why? See, I'm stuck with this is the part of your religion. I don't mean your religion. I mean your religion. um, that really rubs me the wrong way. This whole thing about you need to be saved. God created you and he loves you. He loves you all unconditionally, but you got to worship him and you got to admit that Jesus was his son. Because if you don't admit that Jesus was the son of God, you can't get into heaven and you're going to go to hell. Why? Why is he that insecure that I have to? Again, he's like the climate deniers. Just want to be right. Um, Jesus just wants you to believe in him, and if you don't believe in him, but you have until the moment of death to call out and say, hey, "Jesus, save me," whatever. But why? Anyway, So this guy's going to come on and try to save me. Prove to me that Jesus is real. And I say, if Jesus is real, I'll find out. And I don't believe if there is such a Holy Trinity or whatever you want to call it that exists as you describe it, talking to the religious people, the believers, it exists as you describe it, it's not going to be all that vengeful and pissed off that I didn't listen. You created me, right? Your God created me. He created me so stupid that I can't get it, and he's going to get pissed off at me for being so stupid? No, that ain't how it works. I got lots of problems with the whole fucking thing, to be honest with you. But and you know, they refuse to let go of the childhood vision of the old man in the sky. He's got, of course, a white guy with the long white beard, grandpa guy, who's all loving, but also vengeful, and vengeance is his. Why, we're not supposed to be made us in his image to worship him? That sounds a little narcissistic. I don't know. So that's Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, the night program, Joanne Tyner, who is also a spiritual leader, who's going to be giving me some more of that. And then on Friday during the morning, I have two filmmakers, Mark Sterling. Let me get the other guy's name here. Mark Sterling and Tommy Stovall, who have created a new movie about the devil. Has a couple of names you might know. I don't know. Dean Cain is the star of the movie. The woman who plays the devil, you'd know her name. I can't remember what I know it's something with an H. I could look it up, but you know her. She's a kind of famous actress. Anyway, I want to talk now. Dean Cain is not. I'm not a fan of Dean Cain. I think Dean Cain. He's MAGA to the 10th degree, and he's obnoxious about it on Twitter, which is still calling Twitter, by the way. I'm always going to call it Twitter. I'm never going to call it X. But he's like James Woods. If you're on Twitter and you know these actors, Hollywood people who are on the right, a lot of them can be obnoxious. And I'm sure the ones on the left can be obnoxious too. I don't see them. They're like the algorithm doesn't put them in my face. But James Woods, and I'm going to talk about him too. Dean Cain, Chachi, whatever his real name is. I can't. The Charles in Charge kid. Scott Bowell, Bayo, that guy. The Hercules dude. They're all like really obnoxious on Twitter. So I want to talk to him about that. Casting Dean Cain in a movie. Are you concerned that people like me, fuck that movie? It's got Dean Cain in it. I ain't watching that. That fucking pain in the ass. And some people used to like Dean Cain. I used to like, and some people still really like Dean Cain. I don't like Dean Cain. He's a buddy with Steven Crowder. That tells you enough. I don't fucking like Steven Crowder one bit. And you can judge people by who they keep company with, I think. Guilt by association, but not. Dean Cain is an asshole on his own. Anyway, I would talk to him about that. We'll see. It could be a little contentious. We're going to talk about their new movie. Condition of Return is the name of the movie. It's about the devil. Yeah. So I don't pick the titles or the subjects but we got a lot of spiritual stuff going on this week. I didn't choose it. It chose me. Wow. Augie Smith is just posted some video of the hurricane stuff going on. Wow, fucking amazing. Wow. Wait, this is from yesterday. Pretty insane. Um Anyway, I'm having some connection issues here. What's going on there? What's going on with the connection issues? I'm gonna have to upgrade my whole fucking system here. Anyway, I wanted to talk about when Frankie Ray, who was here, Frankie Ray, singer songwriter, was here last week. I think it was Thursday or something. We're talking about some of the songs that she covers, not just her original stuff. And I brought up Anna Nylick, "Breathe," 2 a.m. "Breathe," and I went to the YouTube video and watched it to remind myself of the song. And there are 2 words censored in the song. Censored, cut, silenced, muted, 2 words. And it was obviously a purposeful edit, remastering of the song because the music is still there. They just silenced her voice saying these 2 words. What 2 words? 2 words that are harmless in any context, I think. The 2 words they censored were flask, 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 like a flask, and sober. Not fuck, not shit, not come on your bunghole. Flask and sober. Why censor those 2 words? This is what I don't know. I haven't gotten to the bottom of it because I was going to do some research early this morning, but then I didn't have coffee, and so but I want to. Why? I'm gonna. It's a lot for me to type with one hand over here. Excuse the silence here. Sorry. Let's see if we get an answer here. Harmful or dangerous content policies. How is why does YouTube censor? Did YouTube censor it, or did her record company censor it? It's on, Vivo, or whatever. It's part of that. Ah, when the brain doesn't work, that service that it's her record company, but they go through this collection thing that it starts with a V. I think it's Vivo. On YouTube, I don't. YouTube delete. I got banned from commenting and not able to comment videos. No, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Why does YouTube censor language? The reason why YouTube is censoring so much are the following: the platform is making social engineering the society by biasing its content, censoring one side of the narrative. No, not just narrative. Flask and sober are not part of any narrative. It's lyrics to a song about a guy who was turning 21, true and scary, blah blah blah. No, nobody's saying why. Why did YouTube censor "Breathe" 2 a.m.? Uh, Google support. I'm curious about this, and aren't you? I mean, and I'm understanding at least from what Becky said on Twitter yesterday that they do it to other songs too. It's kind of a trend. Harmful or dangerous content, say, extremely dangerous challenges, dangerous or threatening pranks, instructions to kill or harm, hard drug use creation, instructional theft or cheating, hacking. None of none of that, flask or sober, falls into none of that. You know what? None of that makes any sense to the question, and I don't think I can find out. I don't think there's a real good answer. I'm getting alerts in here and alarms. Um, no, "Breathe" 2 a.m. It's the debut single of American singer-songwriter Ellen Nellick. This is it's like a 20-year-old song too, and I mean, "Cocaine," that song, that's not censored. If you want to get down on the ground, cocaine. But they're censoring flask and sober, and there's no credits in personal. I'm just looking. There's no why. Why? 2004. So it's a 20-year-old song now. Debut, and I think that was her one hit, and that was all she had. The United States, only a promotional disc of Breathe 2 AM was released. In Australia. Oh, is she Australian? No. Proper CD single was issued, backed by acoustic versions, non-album track, Home, and the album track Catalyst. Okay. No, it seems like it was recorded in California. I don't know. Anyway, the question is, why are they censoring it? I don't know, and there's nothing on Wiki about that. And then it's not just are they censor. On cool, 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 cool. All right. All right. I just got a confirmation of a booking. Dave Landau. You know Dave Landau? Dave Landau's a very funny comedian. He will be here on September 19th. I'm putting this in the books right now. Listen, doing business right now, but when something like this just comes, I gotta put it in the books. That's very good. Thank you, James. I will send out the information as soon as I get off of this flying crapmobile. So, anyways, and speaking of Steven Crowder, Dave Landau used to be Steven Crowder's, I don't know, first chair and the second chair. It's weird because the main backup. He was the comic relief, supposed comic relief, on Crowder's show. But I think his executive producer, that nerdy guy, they were all nerdy guys, was the first chair, and Landau was the second chair. He was smart enough to get off of that burning ship. It's good. I don't think I'm going to talk to him too much about that because he's probably sick and tired of talking about that stuff. I'm going to talk to him about his comedy and some other things that um, interest me about him. Anyway, so that's good news. We just booked Dave Landau here live right now, just in the moment. And Peter Parker will probably, Paul P. Paul P will be with us probably sometime this week. I got to get back to him as soon as this flying crapmobile is crashed and burned. Anyway, so that's curious. Why is YouTube censoring just odd words? Anybody got any insight onto that? Just let me know what you think. Why flask and sober? But and again, according to Becky, it's widespread. It's not just that song, or those two words. It's words like that in a lot of songs on YouTube. And it's strange. You're singing along, and all of a sudden, the singer gets quiet. The music's still there. You know those lyrics. The other thing that I saw was Anna Nalick did a performance of that song in Albany, New York. And she was experiencing some laryngitis. And the audience volunteered to sing the song. Yeah, that'd be great. And they started singing. The entire audience, filled out theater, singing her song back at her. Her song. If you have not experienced that, I can tell you that will make you religious. There is something, and you need to feel this. You need to find a way to feel this. And I was thinking about it last night because it's a kind of a heavy, energetic moment. It really is. Even the toughest, grittiest gorilla dude will have an emotional reaction to that. It's words that you, especially if I'm all over the fucking place. I can't talk this morning. If you are a writer who invests a lot of time in lyrical content and the words are important to you, and you feel like you have something to say, and then people take enough, and I don't care how big the room is, but they take enough time and energy to learn your lyrics and learn the melody and all that stuff enough that everyone in the room can sing your song back to you. fucking core-shaking moment and she broke down in tears, and I think I would break down in tears too. I have had that happen with a much smaller room. I can tell you, it's a fucking religious feeling. It will make a believer out of you. It feels it feels spiritual in the moment. There's nothing, and there's really no explaining the feeling because unless you do it and know it, feeling that feeling of people singing your words back to you and getting it right. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. So good for her. I mean, rock stars have it all the time. In theaters and stuff, and in arenas and stuff, and people are singing for but they don't sing the entire song. And I think in the arena stuff, that moment can pass because it's just so fucking big, and you're just having fun and all that stuff. And it's not the whole song. It's just generally a verse or a chorus or whatever. They still get it. They still get usually they get the energy rush from it, but they don't take in the totality of what all that means. And it's generally fluffy lyrics when that happens. It's not "Breathe 2 a.m." or "2 a.m. Breathe," whatever the song is. 2 a.m. or is it "Breathe 2 a.m.?" I don't know, but that's a really deep personal song, and a lot of people put a lot of meaning into that, and so it's much different than uh, yeah, "Born to Run," "Tramps Like Us, Baby, We Were Born to Run." Uh, that line, and people just singing that over and over. It's a whole different experience. But imagine that in comedy. Like, I was thinking about it last night. It just wouldn't work. But imagine a comedian going up on stage and saying he has laryngitis, and the audience doing his jokes for him. Like, just put the mic out and let the audience do the jokes. You could never experience that. Anyway, so good for Anna. And, one hit could go a long way. And it's good when a hit, again, a hit has some meaning, and it's a meaningful, powerful song for people. Right on, right on, right on, right on, right on, right on. I don't even want to. Maybe I should just shut the fuck up about some things. Um, some interesting offers came yesterday, and I have a moment of conflict. That's all I'm going to say about this is really, I got offered a gig that I want, that I deserve, that somebody else, a friend of mine, has. It's his gig. Approached like this: if I get rid of so and so, are you interested in the gig? Oh, don't ask me that. It's like, don't ask me that. If that's your plan, I don't want to lose a friendship by taking a gig. See, that's not the way to handle it. The way to handle it is first clean out your house and then call me and say, I have a gig available. Would you like it? And then it's not, I'm looking to get rid of somebody. You want it. Yeah, that's somebody I know. Somebody who's a friend. Uh, I don't want. I want it, but I'm not going to say I want it right now. I'm not going. Not going to say I want it until it's really available. Till it's a real thing. Till the deed is done. And it feels a little weird. I'm trying to explain this to my wife last night. She said, just take the gig. You want it. You deserve it. Listen, there's a reason he probably is getting fired for it, and that's true. I believe that. Nobody gets fired for no good reason. But by the same token, I feel a little guilty taking it. And I shouldn't feel guilty. And that's what I was trying to avoid. I don't want to feel guilty. I want to be happy I got the gig. I had a funny place about it. Anyway, I think I'll play a song and turn up the AC. I should probably just end this thing. We're 40 minutes in. It's not much of a show today. Hurricanes out west. I got no coffee. I got to get good coffee. Everything, and I gotta make arrangements with the guys now, the people who just booked. for future shows. And it's a Monday. And that's that. I don't know. You guys got anything to say? People out there. I see there's lots of people in certain different rooms over there, but not in the chat room. Nobody's in the chat room today. And people feeling quiet. Maybe they're out getting bummed out about stuff. By the way, I don't think I'm going to Bisbee. I think that's been. Here's the thing with that Uber, the round trip for the flight to Phoenix, from JFK to Phoenix. I found a round trip that was only $467, roughly $500. Not a bad deal. Okay, so that's a round trip from JFK. Uber from my house to JFK, and then the return trip, $525, more than the flight. Ground transportation costs more than the flight. So I'm not going to take an Uber to JFK, so that's out. Then, what is this? New button on. Oh, look at that. Then, if I park a car at JFK for 5 days, it comes out to $600. So that's even more than the Uber. Taking your own car with gas and stuff, and then parking being more than an Uber is far more expensive than taking an Uber, and an Uber is far more expensive than the flight itself. So basically, it's that. The only other option is to ask a friend to get up early to drive me to JFK. Now, JFK is a long way. It's a long trip. And it's kind of like asking a friend to help you move. You know, that's the last time you can ever ask them for a favor. So I'm not going to Bisbee. I'm just not doing it. It's too hard. It's too far. There's too many complications. And I'm not paying some fucking Uber driver more than I'm paying an airline to take me across the country. The airline will take me 3,000 miles for $467. The Uber's only taking me 75, 95 miles, something like that. And they want more. That's ridiculous. Oh, you hear me? My voice is becoming. It's just principle. I know I'm being a little cheap, and you know what? I feel like I'm getting a little cheaper as I get older. I was never a cheap guy, but it bothers me to pay. What would you do? That's the question. What would you do? Would you pay the money for the Uber just to do something like that, to fly across country, or knowing the Uber is costing you more than the jet travel? That bothers me. I don't know. If it doesn't bother you, you're a better person than I am. I don't feel like paying it. So I'm not going to Bisbee. That's the bottom line over there. Oh, somebody's in the chat. Oh, good morning, Ian. Calfee? Calfee dog. There should be long distance Ubers where you get the back seat of a drifter. Yeah, you know, that would be cool to take it if Ubers were realistic, to take one across the country. If they were like normal price, like what would it cost if you could do round trip to Bisbee, Arizona from here in the back of a car, somebody driving it for $467? That would be good, but you can't do that. Anyway, good morning, Miss Bean, the Bean. Kelly, what are you doing? I'm getting emails about Kelly now. Yes, Kelly, I'm getting emails about you. You wondering what people are saying, aren't you? I'm not going to tell you, but I'm wondering what you're up to. Are you up to evil? Are you up to no good? Are you threatening people? Are you? What are you doing? That's what I'm curious about. What's up, Kelly Bean? uh, well, Kelly Bean, Jelly Bean. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it's weird for me to be um, whatever goes on between people. Mr. Beast did a coast to coast Uber video. He did. Yeah, well, I'm not Mr. Beast. So what kind of wallet does Mr. Beast have? That would be good. What did it cost, by the way? Do you remember? Do you remember what the final total was, coast to coast? Uh, Dangerous Dave messaged you. Well, that's another one. You mean Dave Sidwell? That's who you're talking about? No. Well, I'll tell you later. I'm not going to say it on air. Anyway. Ooh. What she said? A lot. Oh. Oh. Well, Dave drinks. Um, but so do you, and so does everybody else. But I don't know. Dave texts me a lot. He loves me. He loves me. Um, and it's weird because it feels like I have a lot of alcoholic friends, and it feels like that 2 o'clock call what you get from my brother. I used to get it from my friend Jeff, who's now dead. Alcoholism killed him. But I used to get 2 o'clock. Hey man, I just want to let you know I love you. Uh, at 2 o'clock in the morning, the call you don't want to get because you don't want to listen. Call me. You really have to tell me you love me. Call me when you're straight. Call me during the daytime or not 2 o'clock in the morning. Not when I'm sleeping. Wake me up for a phone call to tell me, I just want to tell you I love you, man. And then just say it over and over again for an hour. Like, yeah, I heard you the first 300 times, but that's what it feels like. I know. So I'm sorry you're getting uh, the 2 o'clock text, 2 a.m. text from Dave. Yeah, everything goes back to 2 a.m., right? I was talking about the song 2 a.m. He's super nice. Told me about his girl. Yeah, he's super nice. That's what happens when you get drunk and you text somebody or you call them up at 2. They are very nice. The people that call you at 2 o'clock in the morning tell you, I just want to let you know I love you, man. It's really important to me to tell you, man, I love you, man. Yeah, I heard you the first time. Yeah, but I love you, man. Okay. I love Dave. But once is all I need to say it. He's a good guy. But yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess it's you don't mind it if he's being very nice, and there you go. Told you told you about his girl. Which girl was that? I didn't know he had a girl at the moment, but yeah, he's a single guy. He's allowed to have a girl. Hey, we're all allowed to have a girl. I think I'm allowed to have a girl, and I'm married. Uh, I don't always sleep, so I'm fine with it. Yeah, I didn't sleep last night. I'm getting trained to sleep on park benches because that's probably how my life is going to end. So it's not a park bench. My wife keeps telling me it's a sofa, but it feels like a park bench. If you're just joining me, we threw out the old bed before the new bed came, and then the new bed didn't come. So I had to sleep this week at Saturday and last night on a sofa. It feels like a park bench. And then when I say sleep, that's not what I mean. Pretend I'm trying to get to sleep in pain, tossing and turning, thinking the floor's got to be more comfortable than this. Try the floor. No, it's not more comfortable than this. Try the park bench again. No, it sucks. I can't sleep like this. So I haven't had any sleep. Probably going to sleep a bit today if I can find a place. Hopefully the bed will come today. If the bed doesn't come today, I probably will shoot myself. Oh no, YouTube. I'm not breaking. I'm not saying. I'm not glorifying suicide. I'm none of that. I was just joking. Censor me over that now. Got to be careful what you say, folks. No joking. No joking about suicide. Anyway, I'm going to leave you on this note. Watch the Joe List special. Fucking hysterical. Joe List is at the top of his game right now. He might be one of the best. I think in my opinion, he's at the top of the list of current um, stand-up comedians. It's really good stuff and prolific in putting out shows. And again, even though I had seen him live doing some of that material, I still laughed at it on a YouTube video, which says a lot. It's good material. His delivery is good. Just at the top of his game. Hopefully, we'll get. I'm trying to get some people like that. I'm trying to get Joe List on. I reached out for him. I know he was on Mike Binder's stand-up comedy world show. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to be able to get him, but I try. We'll try. That's all we could do, folks, is try. Anyway, I'm going to go deal with whatever I deal with because I got to deal with it. That's my stuff. Uh, and I thank you all for putting up with me this morning. I know this wasn't much of a show. Nothing here. Tomorrow, Andrew Cloninger, who's a musician, author, will be here. That should be a good show. Although he's not getting here till 10:15, so the first hour, unless I get Paul P on in the first hour tomorrow, the first hour is going to be kind of a lot like today. Like, what the fuck? I'm just rambling about shit. And I'm not going to get into the whole political stuff today. I know the first few minutes I kind of teetered on politics, but it wasn't really on politics. It was about Biden not showing up for Hawaii until this week, which is a week late, in my opinion. But I know I saw the numbers drop off. The number counter of the audience up there went from like 18 to 2 the minute I started talking about politics. So I know people piss off when I talk about politics. I can't help it. It's part of the existence we're living in. We are in a constitutional crisis right now. And the choices in politics that we have are the worst ever. I'll just leave you with this. That Wednesday night, there's the first Republican primary debate, and Donald Trump's not going to show up. But they probably will have a podium for Trump on set up with the people who do show up. And you know what? I don't even know all the names of all the people who are going to be on this debate, but Trump is the front runner, and they're all going to be taking shots at Trump, who's not going to be there because he's chickening out. Literally chickening out. And I'm wondering because he's also said he's not going to make any of them. People know me. Basically, he's hiding. He's hiding like Biden. Uh, but I'm wondering if they just keep focusing on him and just talking about him and the negatives about him, that he'll feel compelled to have to go in and defend himself on the next one. That's what my prediction's going to be. That's how it's going to work out. We'll see. But I would recommend, even if you're not a Republican, even if you hate Republicans, watch it so that the ratings aren't that bad. So he feels like he has to get it. Listen, he has to be. You can't be the front runner and not participate in the debates. And they could say that, well, what about Biden? Yeah, what about Biden? What do we got with Biden? You like Joe Biden? Um, anyway, I, yeah, you don't want to be hiding like Biden. Um, I did want to quickly before I got a couple minutes before the hour's up. Sure, Elon Musk with this taking away the power to block people. First of all, people are saying he can't do that if he wants to keep apps on the app stores of Apple and Google Play, which is weird that Apple and Google have that much power to say you can't have a social media app unless you do what we say, which includes being able to block people. Being able to block people is a safety issue. It's important, but the fact that you can't do an end around, or maybe you can, but it's really tough to self-provision an app, and people aren't going to. You have to self-provision different versions of the app and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure Musk could probably figure that out, but the fact that Apple and Google have that much power to say you can't. Now, he could always say fuck the apps and just have a website and make people use a browser even on a phone. I think it would lose a lot of traffic, a lot of customers, and all that kind of stuff. But the hypocrisy of it is, this is the beauty of it. People yelling at him about the blocking stuff, and then Musk goes and blocks those people. You can't make this shit up. James Woods, who I brought up earlier when I was talking about Dean Cain, about people who are just toxic on Twitter, or right winger toxics. James Wood, who was a big fan of Elon's buying Twitter, said, he wrote several angry tweets at Musk about the blocking stuff. Now I'm going to have all these degenerates and people coming after me and blah 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 blah. Blah. You can't do that. You're going to ruin this thing. It was better when whatever Jack had Twitter and all this stuff. And then Musk said, "Well, delete your account." And then he went back and forth. And then Musk blocked James Woods. So this is a guy who's saying he's going to get rid of blocking because it serves no purpose. There's no reason to have a block function on Twitter. And then he goes blocking people. You can't get more hypocritical than that. Space count. It's what's good for him. He can block people who are saying anything negative about him. But you can't block crazy people who are stalkers and trolls and they could be threatening people. All of that. You're not allowed to block them, but he can block whoever he wants. It's the height of hypocrisy. I've wrestled with getting off of Twitter altogether. The fact is, I need it. I need it for promotional stuff. I need it for being able to contact some celebrities and some prospects for the show. I would not have that option if not for Twitter. Facebook isn't good for that. Instagram isn't good for that. Twitter is the place for that, unfortunately. So I have to be on there. But every day now I'm thinking, can I get off of Twitter? How can I? If I can, is it feasible? I would like to just be able to pull a plug in. And Threads is a fucking waste of time. I'm like invisible there. I don't know. Am I complaining again? I'm on my complaining rant. Anyway, that's my non-show for you today. Non-show it was. A non-show. I'm going to go try to get a decent cup of coffee somewhere in the world. See, I have to go out to 7-Eleven or something to get a decent cup of coffee in the morning. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to order a coffee maker on Amazon and see if I can get it delivered overnight. That's what my first thing to do is. Then I got to check on my bed delivery and prepare shows for the people I just booked. So that's what I got to do today. And then I'm going to get stoned out of my fucking mind. I'm going to roll the big bamboos. I talked about this the other day. I couldn't get my little bamboos. Couldn't get my little bamboos. So all I had were the big bamboos. Now, you would think, well, big bamboos, that's not much. See, the thing is, the big bamboos, you roll them fatter with this because it's more. You can. So it's not only longer, it's fatter. So you get like 3 times the weed in one joint. That's what it is. So I'm going to roll a big fatty and and this is what's been happening. I'm thinking I was just getting really good weed. No, I've been smoking the fucking big bamboos. They finally got the little ones in, but the big ones, you just smoke that much more weed. And I was thinking, wow, this is some really good weed. No, it's just that you're smoking 3 times as much as you usually do. Duh. That will get you more stoned. That's my lecture for you. And YouTube, no, I'm not glorifying illegal behavior. If you're in a place where marijuana is not legal, don't do it. It's bad for you. It'll make you grow tits, unless you're a girl. Then it won't make you grow tits. But if you're a guy, it'll make you grow tits, which is fucking backwards. And don't do it. Okay? That's YouTube, you happy I told them not to do it? Okay. But don't censor my words like flask and sober. I'm out of here, man. I am so fucking out of here. Aren't you? I'm going to go turn on my radio. I actually do the same thing. Bye for now.
I listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.